Look at that cute little turkey body. I hope you watch the pom-pom video so you can get the right size and everything. Now we're going to move on to turkey feet. And this is not an exact science. We're going to pick where I think the foot should be. Oh, right here. And we're going to join. I'm using a yellow yarn now, just from my scrap pile. I really don't like to spend money, if you hadn't noticed that yet. I just don't. And then we're going to attach that. And we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to skip that first space, or the last space you just did, however you want to look at it. And then we're going to do a slip stitch in each of the next 4 spaces. So skipping this one, going in here, 1. So not even a single crochet, we're doing a slip stitch. 2, 3. This yarn is so thin. And 4. Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to skip that first space and do a slip stitch in each of the next 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. I think I had 2 in the same space, but I got my 4. We're not going to mess with something this size. And then we're going to do another, we're repeating that same thing. So we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skip the first, and then 4 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we're going to do a slip stitch in each of the next 3 spaces, which is going to take us down the foot. So 1, down the leg. We just made the little feet, if you can't tell what that is. So 1, 2, 3. So you can see this is the leg. Right here. Can you tell that's the leg with the little feet? And we're going to just go back into where we started and join with the slip stitch. Now it's connected, and we're going to cut and tie off. And in a bit we'll hide that thread inside of the foot, but that's what the foot looks like. Little turkey foot. And once again, this is not an exact science. You could count if you want everything to be even, but I'm going to say that if this is the top, turkey foot number 2 should be here. And I'm going to be happy with that. And we're going to repeat the same process we just did for the other foot. Enjoy. Okay, it's beginning to look a lot like a turkey. All right, we need to chain 3 with our yellow again. Now we're making the beak. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go into the first chain that we made and join with the slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 1. Then we're going to turn the project. Whoop, and we're going to do 2 single crochet. 1, 2, and 1 slip stitch. So in the next space we're going to do a slip stitch. I lost my spot. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do 2 single crochet in each of the 3 spaces across. So 1, 2, we're just making a little triangle for the beak. 1, 2, can you hear that lovely grumpy baby in the background? 1, 2. There you go. There's our little triangle beak. And we're going to go ahead and cut our thread. Tie that off, and we're going to hide those threads, and we'll be right back. Now, I'm moving on to glue stick time. As always, remember that glue sticks are hot, burn you. It's a quote from my husband's childhood. Anyway, I'm just using scrap paper. This is actually a library reading list for my kids from the summer, you know. If you look real closely, you might see some of the books that she was supposed to read this summer. And I'm putting my turkey body right here. And I'm going to take my pom-pom and just snip off those 2 extra threads. And I'm going to put a generous amount of glue back here. And put it on before it dries. Right in the center. Squish. Boom. We're on. Now we have multiple things to put on here. We have, before I glue it, I'm just going to kind of lay it out. We've got our beak. We've got our googly eyes. What project is complete without googly eyes? Seriously, these things, whoever invented these is awesome. And we've got our little gizzard. Now, our gizzard is just a small piece of ribbon, and ribbon tends to fray. So what I'm going to do is put a small piece of glue here. Try not to burn myself as I immediately put that up next to it. Hot! And then I'm going to snip off that ravelly stuff. And I'm going to bend this over again on itself. It's kind of like when you sew and you want to like hem something up so it doesn't unravel. But I'm doing it with glue. So then we're going to fold this over. Once again, try not to burn ourselves. It's amazing I have any feeling left in my fingers after all the craft projects I've done over the years. Alright, so you see this. It's not messy. It's not going to be fraying and yucky. And your choice, you can put it under or over, but I think my turkey wants it on top. I don't know. So we're going to glue our beak on. It's another way to hide your threads. Just shove it all behind the beak. No one's going to see it, right? So there's our little beak. And then we're going to put another dot of glue on the ugly side where we've already got all that glue. Have our little gizzard thingy. Weird word. Gizzard. And just position that wherever it makes you happy. I'm going to put it right there. Pulling off some extra glue fragments that kind of get everywhere. And then we've got 2 googly eyes to put on. Hot! Oh, that was really hot. Right there. Which is why adults should always be the operators of the glue guns, not children. Not that we're any better at it, but at least your kids aren't getting hurt then. Okay, we have our turkey complete. Gobble, gobble! And now we got to put them on the headband. And just as a side note, let's say you have a little boy, like I do, and you didn't want to put a headband on them. You could easily attach this to a safety pin or 2, like from the top there, and just put it on their shirt. Or just let them play with this, you know. Just keep an eye that they're not eating googly eyes if they're young. But, you know, you can go take this turkey and do a million different things with it, but I'm going to put it on a headband. So our next step is to take our headband, and we're going to take a big piece of yarn. Oops, not that yellow yarn. And connect this. And the cool thing about this is that our turkey is totally going to hide. So this doesn't have to be completely beautiful perfect, because the turkey's going to be covering this seam. That's where we're going to put the turkey. Now the reason this headband is so wide is because it also, well, I had to fit the turkey body, but also I like to use these. It's just so cold this time of year. I like to take them and I put them over the kids' hair, and it's kind of like an earmuff that they're willing to wear. So it looks adorable. It's a headband, but you can also keep those poor little ears from getting ear infections this time of year. Or yourself, if you want a really cute thing to not have an ear infection. So I'm just going back and forth here. And once I get this all the way to the end, I'm going to take a moment and hide all of these threads. I have like 4 or 5 threads coming out here. It's been a year since I made this, but I remember, at least on my second one, after I figured out how I was making my pattern, when you first cut off your headband, if you make a really long tail there, you don't need these extra threads. But it was a year later, and alas, I did not be-member, as my 6-year-old likes to say still. So cute. All kids talk like Rugrats. Such a good show. All right, so I'll come back when I get to the end and I have all these threads hidden. I forgot to point out, if you look, the turkey is a big loop. Once again, it's been a year. Cut me some slack here since I made this pattern. I'm going to run a little bit of glue in there and then just pinch that closed. Pulling off any glue strands. It was bothering my husband and I went, oh, I forgot about that. Okay, I have finished sewing up this loop over here. And so see, that's not very attractive. That would be what you would hide under the hair. But I am going to put the turkey over it so you can put your hair wherever you want. So I'm just going to kind of position the turkey where I want him. And then I'm going to put my thumb there to hold it in place. And I am going to run a bunch of glue in here. And then pinch that closed. Kind of hold that down. So again, careful you don't burn yourself, as I just did again. And then I am going to go in and just make sure you don't put glue on the turkey where the headband doesn't exist. So follow the headband line. But I'm going to put some glue in there. And then hold that down, because you don't want to see a bunch of glue off the back of your headband. Like if I were to have put glue here, you wouldn't see. You would see it because there's no headband there. Okay, that should be dry, and I'm going to move over here. You could also, if you don't want to put glue there, you could just use yarn to attach this and kind of sew it on, but the glue is so much faster. Okay, I'm going to let this totally dry so I don't burn my baby. And then I will show you what it looks like on our model, who's not really who this is for, because this is for a girl once again. You hold 2 things of yarn.
It's rolling.
Okay, that's what we look like. It would be even cuter and more appropriate on my niece, who's a girl, but hopefully my son doesn't need therapy in later years over me doing this to him. Are you fine? Are you gonna need that? I don't think so. Anyway, isn't it cute? You still look cute, but you're not a little girl.